Welcome back to the lab, folks. Today what we're going to do, we're going to look at this. This here is a little Bluetooth speaker. It does more than Bluetooth. Let's see, turn it on here. Very loud.
Bluetooth mode.
So it'll go Bluetooth, and it'll also do USB and a little micro SD card. But let's try it on the USB here. And we'll turn it back on again.
USB driver mode.
You can listen to it. It's not that bad. It's pretty nice sounding. I mean, for the price, it's actually excellent, given all it can do. That you can use 3 different kinds of media with it. But the bass response is not good, and I'll tell you. So the reason I got this back here right now. Let me stop this. The battery doesn't last very long, so he gave it back to me. He said, "Can you do something about it?" And I said, "Sure." So that's what we're going to try to do today. We're going to try and see if we can improve this little thing. All right, so the first thing we have to do is you have to get into this thing. So I need to get myself a spudger or something. This seam here doesn't look promising. I don't think I could get a spudger in there, but I might be able to get one in around the grill. I don't know if it's glued on or something like that. We can always glue it back on again later. I can't seem to find my regular spudger, but I have this one here too. It should get the job done as well. So, get in. Okay, it's coming up. That's not glued in. It looks like it's got some little posts or pillars that go into some holes. So that's nice. Okay, good. All right, there's a speaker, and we got 1, 2, 3, 4 screws. All right, what do we have here? Not much. There's not much in here at all. There's a battery stuck to the back of the speaker. That does not look like a 300 milliamp hour battery to me. Speaker says it's a 0.3 watt. And this is the circuit board here. Not much to that. Only 2 chips on there, sorry, I can see. Let me put this under a magnifying glass. Okay, so let's see. We have here this chip right here. That's just an OPA 1612, which is an audio op amp. And it looks like it's got one half has got to do with charging the battery, and the other half has to do with powering the speaker. Now, given the specifications of this, you're not going to get much more than 40 milliamps, I think, from what I read, going through that speaker at 5 volts. That's not going to give you a lot of watts. So, 100 milliwatts or somewhere around that range, RMS, is about all you're going to get. And this thing here is a PNS A15E7E, which is some really magical chip. It's just a 16-pin package. It provides a Bluetooth receiver, and it can also play back from an SD card or a USB stick. And it's got that voice that we heard when I turned it on. It's got all that built into it. It must be quite a little bit of circuitry in there. So that's it. There are no other discrete components on the board. And this is the only other semiconductor, and it's a diode. And I think it has something to do with the charging too. So I think from what I was able to trace from the circuit, it comes from the positive 5 volts on the USB connector here through the diode, and then that goes directly to the positive of the battery, and then somehow the negative goes to the output of the op amp on this side. So I don't know what it is they're trying to do. There's a capacitor between the output and the negative input, almost like an integrator. And to tell you the truth, I don't trust it. So if I can't upgrade this thing, I'm going to tell the kid's dad that maybe he needs to just buy him a better one, throw this thing out. The only other IC, I should say, here is this 24 megahertz crystal oscillator. And that's it. That's all she wrote. Not on the back. Here's a single-sided board. This speaker looks pretty feeble. But this here is an actual 300 milliamp hour battery, and you can see just looking at it, I mean, it's physically the same size width and length, but it's twice as thick. So my guess is this is not quite 300 milliamp hour battery. But I do have this battery here, which is, I know this one is a 1300 milliamp hour battery. I've actually checked it and it does have 1300 milliamp hour capacity. So if this is, let's call it a 300 milliamp hour battery, this would give it 4 times the runtime. So as long as I can fit that into the case, and what I'll do is I'll put a protection circuit on it. We could feel a little bit safer with that in there. And as far as speakers go, I have this. This is left over. This is one of 2 actually left over from an upgrade of another device I did. A little stereo amplifier. And this is very nice. This has got a nice long excursion cone with a foam surround. It's got a fairly decent diameter voice coil and a big magnet on it. And I can tell you it really improved the bass response of that little stereo speaker system. So I think it could do the same for us here. It's definitely a more substantial speaker than this one. The only thing is I'm going to have to, let me show you here. The speaker fits down inside this here. Now I have measured across here from this edge to this edge is about a 0.5 millimeter less than the hole here. So I'll have to get those ears off it. And it should fit down in there just fine. And then there's another issue in that this has this little post here. And that's not going to work with this in place because it extends down more than this. And this thing here with the sponge rubber and the battery rested up against that post to keep the speaker in. This speaker is actually quite a bit too small for the opening. Because it is pushed off to one side, you get a big gap over there. So yeah, it's rattling around in there. So I guess they did that, like stacking all this up with the sponge rubber just to get it to kind of stay in place a little bit. Use the controls on these right now. This thing has got a really strong magnet on it. Okay, so let me take this and I'm going to try and get those ears whittled down. I'm just going to use a nibbler. Okay, so this is what we've done. I haven't removed any of the basket yet. I just removed those ears off it. And let's see if we can get that to fit in here. Yeah, that fits in there just perfectly. Yeah, actually it almost snaps into place. No wiggle room, so it's going to fit in there really nice. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to remove this post here. Okay, I've got that post off there. We're going to have to test this out to see how much space there is. I'm going to pop it on there, get this down over it. Yeah, there is a little bit of room behind it. So for safety's sake, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get some double-sided foam. And I don't think I'm going to use this. I don't think that's quite thick enough. It might be. But I'm going to use this. I'm going to use this. And then I'll stick another piece of more compressible double-sided foam on top of that. Okay, so I'm just going to put that on there. All right, that should be plenty enough. And I'm going to leave that backing on there so it doesn't stick to the case, because I don't think we need that. But let's put this in and see how, snap this into place and see how everything lines up. There we go. We're snapped in. And just want to see if they're going to apply a little bit of pressure to get this down. That's perfect. Just squish that foam down and that'll keep that speaker in place. So I don't have to put any glue on it, and I prefer not to. All right, so the next step here would be to find a place for this battery and then connect up this module to it. Okay, so there's the modules attached. I've got this sticky tape here so I can fold this back over when we attach these wires here onto it. And I'm also going to attach the speaker on. So I'm going to go and get all that done, and then we'll come back and the thing should be pretty well ready to test out. So let me get that. It looks like we have everything wired up. Let's see if we can't give it a little test here. We'll turn it on.
Bluetooth mode.
Actually, you know, that sounds much better already. That's not even in the case. Or maybe I could stick the battery over here. It'd be nice if I could get everything just in the one place, in the one side of the shell. Yeah, that should work. right. Now just snap the grill back on. Oh, let's see if it still works. Oh, yeah.
Bluetooth mode.
Oh, that is much, much bass. Much, much more bass. Okay. Let's get that USB key into it and listen to it.
USB driver mode.
Yeah, I can actually hear the bass drum and the bass guitar here, so I couldn't before. Nice. Now it actually feels like it's got some weight to it. Now I didn't put the strap back in. Those of you might have noticed I didn't put that back in because the kid didn't like it, so I'm leaving that out. So there it is. All done and dusted. Okay, for what it's worth, I will leave a link to this and the speakers that I use. The battery is just a battery I got out of something else. So now we're up to 8. Well, that's in US dollars, we're up to about $8 for this. And I think given the fact that this is going to last a minimum of 4 times as long. And I don't know how long it does last. He didn't tell me. He just says it doesn't last very long. So it's going to last 4 times longer than not very long. Yeah, it's not bad. This actually sounds really, really good. It's not loud. You know, my estimate of about 100 milliwatts or so is just about right. Thanks a lot for coming out, guys. Really appreciate it. See you in the next video. Bye-bye.